What's up, everybody? It's a wonderful day to do a mock draft for fantasy football. Of course, I could say that every single day of the year, but that's what we do around here. I'm Pierre. He's Chris. This is Fantasy Endgame. If you haven't drafted with us, it's a good time to do so. We draft a couple of times per week, sharpen the saw, get you ready for next season. That's right. It's not too early. We're practicing, getting a good sense of who's going where, but also how other people are valuing these players, and we mix it up here. So, Chris, today you're going with a 3 spot. I decided to go somewhere in the middle. I'm going with an 8. Our guy Keith is at number 2, and then that means we got 9 spots left. Let's see who can get in there. These things fill up quickly. Not silent majority. I'm rooting for you. Hopefully, you get the spot you want. Should we do it?
Let's do it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Good luck, everybody. The link is posted. Yeah, I went with the 3. So I should also say tonight we're doing a 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, not 3, only 2 tonight. Full PPR, 1 tight end, 1 flex. So
all right, only need to start 2 receivers. Let's see if that changes any strategies here.
Yeah, it should.
And we're full.
We're full. All right, so everybody, hopefully you got in. Not so silent majority. I know you were the first one here. See Stinger in again. Jean Mustard. Chemo's in here.
That's
Fantasy
Tanner,
Sleeper.
right?
I feel like Fantasy Sleeper. Do you think Fantasy Sleeper works for Sleeper and knows like the shortcut? Because I feel like he gets in every single one.
He's a sleeper on the sleeper. Yeah, it's possible. It is possible. Who knows?
All right, well, we ready? Speaking of Fantasy Sleeper Sleeper on the clock.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it started. What's up, Michael? I feel like it's been a little while.
What's up, Michael? Why aren't you in the draft?
Resident Seahawks fan.
Michael, you get access. I sent you the link like an hour and a half ago. The benefits of being a patron. You should be in here, Michael. Okay. That's fair. Can't you just, I don't know how old your baby is, but can you like hold the baby in one hand and draft in the other? I don't know. I don't have a baby, so I might be totally wrong.
You're up. Yeah, I used to do the whole thing where, it was a while ago, I had baby over the shoulder on the couch and got the controller here playing like Resident Evil or something, or the remote, whatever it is.
There you go. By the way, we got a bit of a surprise with CMC at the 1. CMC at the 1 tonight.
Well, I talk about the strategy, like maybe people go a little bit more running back heavy. That, ideally you would think that wouldn't really affect your first pick, right? It might affect your build and how you pick in rounds 2, 3, and 4. But yeah, CMC. Look, I'll still take JJ first every time, but I can't hate on that. I mean, you can't say that's a bad pick to take a guy like CMC first.
Not a bad pick at all. Just something we don't generally see. Although I think we could see, I feel like this happens every offseason because the season ends and running backs are terrible. They're injured. There's no good ones left. And everybody says, I'm taking wide receivers. And then August comes along and people have forgotten how bad running backs were last year and their draft is here and it's the real draft and they got to get their running backs again. And then the running backs are terrible and we just do this endless cycle.
Vicious, endless cycle. And yeah, it's funny because you heard people, and I was about to talk about him anyways, like JT. I mean, I'm not out on him or anything, but it's just funny to see that, at the end of last year, everyone's like, what a bust, never taking JT, what a not worth the pick. And a month later now, all of a sudden he's a first rounder again. It's like it never happened. Last season never happened. It's like, oh yeah, rock solid.
Gone. I like JT still. I mean, look, injuries happen. He's 24 years old.
Well, it was more funny as the people who were saying that last year, oh, he's a bust. We should have known, and the Colts suck. We
should have known. That's my favorite. Like, it's fine. Like, it's one thing if you say we should have known, and you're saying because I was saying all off season this, and this, but I don't think anybody like there are people who were like JT probably shouldn't be the number one pick, but I don't think anybody had JT like not finishing as a top 5 running back.
No, he was the safest pick in the draft.
Injuries happen, especially to running backs, but he's only 24. He's one of the most talented running backs in the game. Yeah, I'm still all in on JT this year. I'm not all in on him as like the number one pick, but like yeah, I'll happily draft him.
Yeah,
when he falls. So wow, it's CeeDee Lamb all the way at the turn. We got that's very surprising.
I mean, I was between Diggs and Lamb where I picked, and I'm fine either way. But yeah, that's great. Stinger killing it again already. Those first 2 picks.
Lamb, AJ Brown at the turn. That's a very good start. Very good start. I feel like we've talked Bijan up too much now. He will never be a value the rest of the offseason.
Not in these drafts. Nope.
No, not in our draft. Not unless he gets drafted somewhere terrible. Like I don't even know. I don't even know where. Like maybe somewhere where people perceive it to be terrible. Like if you went to the Broncos and people were like, "Oh, he's gonna have to compete with Javonte," even though would not have to compete with Javonte.
Yeah, there's not gonna be any competition with Javonte, because Javonte won't be on the field.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like a place like that where people.
But people will say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and people will knock him down because it's not like a home run can't miss spot. Like if you went to, I don't know where if he went to like Miami. If he went to Miami, he might be the number. Like people would probably draft him as like a top 3 or top 2 running back, but he can't go to Miami because they don't have a first round pick, and he's not gonna fall far enough for them.
No, we'd have to pull something off there unless he falls significantly, which I doubt. So.
Yeah, unless he does something stupid between now and the draft, like off the field, and teams get worried. But I don't think he's ever had any issue off the field issue at all, has he? Like even like a minor one?
I don't think so. Not that I know of.
All right, what do we got? Bijan, Garrett Wilson. Yeah, we've steamed up Garrett Wilson too. We'll never get Garrett Wilson as a value anymore either.
And any day now, maybe Aaron Rodgers signing with the Jets. That's just gonna inflate his value even more.
Can it even go higher? We can't take him over AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Diggs, or those. Even with Aaron Rodgers, right? We can't take him over those guys, can we?
I mean, I wouldn't put him as a first rounder, but look, somebody. If let's say the Raiders get like Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Where they're like, you know what, screw it, we're gonna have Jared Stidham. He's gonna be our quarterback this year. I could see people taking him over Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I could see that but that's more because Adams falls than Wilson goes up, right? That's more.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way you could justify taking him over Lamb or Diggs. But people do.
Even AJ Brown. Could you take, even with Aaron Rodgers, could you take him over AJ Brown?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know why you would. People do strange things, though.
So if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, which sounds like it's either going to be the Jets or retirement at this time, does that reduce Breece Hall's value?
I don't see why it would. I mean, if anything, you figure their offense, even if Aaron Rodgers personally and, especially fantasy wise, he's not what he was. Like he was mediocre last year. But one thing Aaron Rodgers still was pretty good at, it was bad for him. Like he threw like 8 interceptions on the year, which for him is like terrible, but he doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't put the defense in bad positions. So they should at least be always in neutral or positive game script with that defense. So I think it's good. And the fact that Rodgers isn't really a gunslinger anymore. I don't know if he ever really qualified as one, but I think it's actually good. think it would be good for Brees Hall's value.
Yeah, I was gonna say that if you're worried about, the pass catching, because a lot of Brees Hall's value last year was in the passing game. I mean, he was good running the ball, but he caught like a ridiculous amount of passes. Look at Aaron Jones. Exactly. Aaron Jones has always been drafted for people aren't drafting Aaron Jones because it's like he's going to run for 1,500 yards. They draft Aaron Jones because of his pass catching and the touchdown. So I think Brees Hall with Aaron Rodgers would be just fine. What I'm more worried about with Brees Hall is the knee. When will he be healthy enough to actually be productive in fantasy with the knee?
Yeah, that's the key there. Exactly, is whether he'll be himself. I'm not worried about the offense itself. The offense will obviously be better with Rodgers. It won't be amazing. It's not like they're going to say, "Oh, we got Rodgers here. We're just going to lean back and throw the ball a bunch." That's not the style of offense they run. Which is Rodgers is kind of a perfect fit for what they need right now. But now that's my concern with Hall. That's why I'm not taking him probably in the first 2 rounds, because I just worry we're going to get like post Saquon, type of results.
Exactly. It's the number of running backs who came back year 1 from ACL and were great is far, far, far fewer than the number who came back year 1 and were much, much worse. And we're talking good running backs. We're not just talking like the bad running backs. We're talking about like good running backs. So
yeah, people tend to remember the outliers, right? The good results. We don't remember all the bad ones because they were forgettable.
Yeah. I think
Stinger with a fair question.
Yeah, I was almost afraid to answer this one until a quarterback had been drafted, because I don't want to sway people's decisions.
Yeah. Let's wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, I have a clear 1-2, but we'll wait till some quarterbacks have been drafted so we don't sway people's draft here. So CP asking how many wide receivers tonight. We were doing a 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex, full PPR. So as you can see, we are seeing many more running backs off the board early tonight, which is good. It actually makes me happy to see that people can adapt to different draft settings and strategies and not just go in blindly saying like, I'm just going to always take this guy or this guy. Like,
no, you can't do that. Except your team. I noticed there's no running backs on there.
Well, that wasn't by design, but when it got to me, like for me, Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, that's like the end of kind of like that tier of running backs. Then you get like to the Etiennes, the Chubbs, the Najees, the Pollards, the Stevensons, guys I like, but I'm like, eh. And then once Keith, I was thinking about Chubb if he came back to me at where I took Debo, but once he took Chubb, I just felt like the value of like getting Debo as my flex, I just felt it was too good. Okay, we got the quarterbacks off the board, so let's go back to this one. Since I think these are the consensus top 2, what order do you have them?
For me, the quarterback one, I think it's going to wind up being Hurts.
Yeah.
Because people now forget that for a lot of the season, Mahomes, of course, finished great, but he wasn't the fantasy QB1 all last year. Like Hurts was putting up bigger games. To me, it's Hurts.
Yeah, to me, it's Hurts, Mahomes. Hurts just with the rushing just has. I mean, I know, look, Mahomes is great, and there's nothing wrong with having Mahomes. But Hurts with that rushing and those rushing touchdowns, I mean, he can win you weeks by himself. Like he's one of the few quarterbacks that can win you a week by himself. So I have him 1, Mahomes 2nd, but they're both great.
Yeah, no, I think realistically, it's not a big difference which way you go. I mean, you're talking, splitting hairs basically.
Yeah.
Mahomes, you could consider. I mean, I don't know. Is he safer? I guess.
I guess. But again, like, you shouldn't be drafting for safer. Because as we've seen, like, you never know. I mean, if he suffered that ankle injury in, let's say, like the ankle injury he suffered in the AFC Championship game, if he suffered that, or in the whenever it was in the playoffs, if he suffers that injury week 7, do we see him the next 3 or 4 weeks? Probably not, right? Because they're, you know what I mean? Because it's like it's the middle of the season, they can't risk further injury. They've got 2 losses or 1 loss at the time. So I mean, yeah, like anybody can get hurt. So you can't really. I don't think you can go. Like, safer should not be the tiebreaker.
No. It shouldn't be. Oh, man. I got distracted thinking about quarterbacks. All right. Take Josh Allen.
Nothing wrong with Josh Allen there. Nothing wrong with Josh Allen.
But, and look, talking about him, throw him in the conversation too, because it's funny how he's just like, last year was slam dunk. It was Josh Allen, number 1. Look, last year between these 3, this is how close it was. Points per game, because total points, Mahomes wound up with the most at quarterback, but that's because he played more games, right? Hurts missed those couple. Points per game, Jalen Hurts 25.2. This is like typical PPR scoring. Josh Allen 24.7. Pat Mahomes 24.6.
Yeah,
I mean, doesn't really make a big difference there either way.
Those are all
people be bummed because Hurts, finished the last, couple of games giving you nothing because he wasn't playing, but that is what it is. And Josh Allen also kind of limped to the end, right? Because he was obviously not healthy with the shoulder, the elbow. But overall, it's probably kind of the same thing. As long as you get one of those guys, you're good. You don't worry about it.
Yes, exactly. What's up, Chase? Good to see you. This is going to be an interesting spot for me for sure.
So only 2 receivers in the starting lineup, 1 flex. I mean, I know you want to go receiver again, but then you're loading up your bench.
Can I just take receiver every pick? Can I just do every pick? Just go receiver.
Just stream every other position.
Yeah, just stream them. So are we Mike Williams over D-Hop or D-Hop over Mike Williams?
I think until something changes with his situation, which it's not a guarantee it will. Like Hopkins, he might want to go somewhere, but somebody's got to be willing to take him and that salary. I'm going to go Williams over D-Hop personally.
Yeah, me too. Unless he lands just somewhere great, like if he landed in Buffalo, right? If Buffalo's which I have heard, but Buffalo's a spot. It makes sense because Buffalo's a team that's like, hey, the window's closing. We got Diggs is 30 years old. The defense, right? We might not be able to bring back all our defense. That window might be closing. Let's make it one more run this year with D-Hop and see what happens. And if not, then we'll try to get some young talent around Josh Allen. So I could see Buffalo. If he goes to Buffalo, definitely D-Hop over Mike Williams then.
If he goes to Buffalo, you'll be able to get D-Hop past round 2, if even.
No, probably not. Probably not. So I do need running back, but I was hoping Swift would make it to me. Once he's gone, I just feel like I'm taking a running back just to take a running back here. So I think I'm going to go QB.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, you would think that the team 1 here is not going to take another running back. So probably maybe 1 at the most will go off the board if Keith takes 1 before it comes back to you.
Yeah, and again, I think Swift for me, Swift was the one I was hoping would fall to me. I'd be fine gambling with Swift there, but once he went, I'm like, okay. There's like you said, there's a few running backs here I'd be okay with. So,
right,
just go QB there, and then
noticed Dalvin Cook gone in the 4th round. Not an auto pick.
Not an auto pick in the 4th. I mean, I think in this format it's okay. I mean, what is he? He's got to be like the running back. 18, 19. How many running backs we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17. He's the RB 17. I think I'm okay with that.
Hey, I'm not down on Cook like a lot of people are. I mean, I think that's fine. Where you took him based on the running backs left, yeah, sure. There might be one or two guys I like a little better than him, but I think it's fine. Just interesting that everyone had been down on Cook, and now that might be the earliest we've seen him taken.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a Jags fan.
For going three, yeah, a lot of Jaguars on that team, but for going 3 RBs to start, that's not a bad 1-2 wide receiver combo.
No, I mean, we talk about having a lot of people have asked, is it okay to have 2 receivers, 2 players in the same offense? Yeah, if the offense is really good, then that's a good thing. But I don't know if I want 3 starting players on the same offense, especially when it's not Kansas City or, Cincinnati. It's the Jags. And look, I know the Jags did put up some points for the end of the year, but yeah.
All right. I had a feeling Keith was snipe me there.
While you're up, I'll throw this up. It's up, Steven. If the Bears get situated this offseason and find that wide receiver 1, a lot of talk about them spending all that cash they got, and fix their OL, are you drafting Justin Fields as your QB1? Well, I can answer that for Chris because he did draft Justin Fields as his QB1 here. So as soon as you make that pick, tell me why you're good taking Justin Fields as your QB.
He wouldn't be my overall QB1. But if the Bears do something like what the Eagles did last year, which they can definitely do, which is improve the offensive line and get him a true weapon, a true wide receiver weapon, whether that's, I don't know. I don't really feel like there's a rookie in here that would make me like lose my mind for him, but you never know. You never know what teams like Tampa Bay says, look, we're starting over. We're rebuilding. You want Chris Godwin, you can have Chris Godwin or whatever. You don't know, right? If they do that, I would probably have them right after Josh Allen as QB4.
Yeah, it would have to be the right wide receiver 1. A wide receiver 1 for them is different from a guy who's a true wide receiver 1. Like if we're talking like DeAndre Hopkins, which, I would be all in. That would definitely be a huge target. It would be perfect fit. I don't know who else would be. It's not going to happen now, but a lot of people were talking. There was rumors, T. Higgins, they're going to trade him. Okay, they're not trading Higgins. But what if Chicago made an offer they couldn't refuse and T. Higgins went to Chicago? Yes, I'm all in on Justin Fields. But, it can't just be anybody. It can't just be a minor upgrade.
No. And I've said this like a bunch. Remember, this time last year, A.J. Brown was a Titan. Pretty sure Devontae Adams was still a Raider. Maybe he'd been traded by now. Tyreek Hill was still a Chief. Marquise Brown was still a Cardinal, or was still a Raven. Nobody thought those guys were going to be on different teams. So just because right now we're only talking about the obvious ones like DeAndre Hopkins, which I'd be surprised if the Bears traded for DeAndre Hopkins just because he's older. I would think they'd want somebody younger, but you just don't know. Like nobody expected A.J. Brown to be traded. Nobody expected Marquise Brown to be traded during the draft, right? That was a shock. I remember when it happened when we were live streaming it. It was like, what? Marquise, what? So you just never know. But if they're able to pull off something like that and improve the offensive line, which they should, then yeah, I'll have him right behind Josh Allen, ahead of Joe Burrow.
And look, there's another guy that's kind of been rumored, Deontay Johnson. Remember, he went and took all the Steelers stuff off his social media, and he's writing these cryptic tweets and whatever. Deontay Johnson, not happy. He wants that. So what if something happens? The Bears get another Steelers wide receiver, and they get Deontay Johnson. That wouldn't move the needle enough for me, because even though he's a really good receiver, to me, he's not really like an alpha. That's something that would help, but that's not going to sway me to take Fields over Jalen Hurts.
No, I don't even know. Like, for him to take over Jalen Hurts, I don't even know what he would have to like.
Well,
He'd have
yeah.
to bring in like DeAndre Hopkins and Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs is like, I'm done with Josh Allen and I can't play with this team anymore. Like, it'd have to be like he has two just absolute studs on. You know what I mean? It would have to be like ridiculous.
And they draft Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, just to make it like even more ridiculous.
Yeah, right now I feel like Fields is just at the top of that second tier quarterback. It's like you have the big three, those guys we talked about earlier, Mahomes and Hurts and Josh Allen. And then right after that, you go Fields, Burrow, and then I still keep Lamar Jackson in there, and then Herbert. To me, Herbert kind of rounds out tier 2.
Yeah, I almost said this, but I don't know if just that is enough. I don't know if just that is enough.
Yeah,
I do like JSN. I think people are too low on JSN because he didn't like run the 40 or whatever, but he's a great route runner. He'll be awesome. He'll be awesome out of the slot. And like, we shouldn't be knocking wide receivers anymore for being slot wide receivers. I mean, we're drafting Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jalen Waddle in the second round, and they're just slot wide receivers. Like, it's not a knocking. It's like even CeeDee Lamb runs like half his routes out of the slot. It's not a bad thing anymore. But I don't know if just JSN is enough. Now, if they drafted JSN and then also swung a trade for some youngish, disgruntled wide receiver who wants out, then yes. But I don't think just JSN would be enough for me.
No, I don't think so. Not for me. I mean, that would, again, it would help, but I don't think it's a big game changer in terms of draft stock for Fields. But again, at this point, that's not even necessarily a bad thing. The good thing with Fields is you don't really have to worry so much about the passing game with him. I mean, what was he doing when he was winning you games, last year? It's because he ran for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. He still can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, to some extent, you could even argue if they load up at receiver and they decide to pass more, maybe that hurts his fantasy value because he's not going to run as much and they're going to try to make him more of a passer. I don't know how much that'll happen, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, he only had 17 passing touchdowns last year. Like,
yeah,
it's not like you need him to, throw for 4,000 yards and 30 plus touchdowns.
So we're talking about the Bears that whole time, and just now realized all the running backs I had queued up were taken before my last pick, and then there's really nobody I felt good enough about to take. So now I'm suddenly wide receiver heavy, than you even, because I got 4 receivers and only 1 running back. I really wanted Akers or Pierce. I didn't think Dobbins would make it to me, but
yeah, I'm okay with mixing there as my RB2.
Yeah, I thought he might fall this next round, but
oh well. I mean, he probably would if I didn't take him, but because nobody likes him.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this format, I'm going to try to shore up that running back sooner if I can. And Mixon as an RB2 is fine. Fine.
Yeah, so I'm waiting a little too long, as I tend to do on positions.
But man, there's some crazy wide receiver value in here. I mean, like looking at some of these wide receivers that have gone, like Ayuk in the in the 5th, Godwin, Hollywood, Pickens, Deontay. There's definitely, yeah, he did, and I think what people are worried about JSN right now is, one, he didn't run the 40. He's not a super fast straight line guy, but I think he showed he's got the agility, and he's got that route running. That's always going to work in the NFL. It's always going to work. Guys who get open will always be successful in the NFL. Like, no, he might not ever be a Justin Jefferson or a Jamar Chase, but Guys who get open, get the ball. So I don't know why people are so down on him.
He's definitely going to be like polarizing prospect because there are people saying, look, that monster year he had. Well, yeah, he was always open because you had Olave on one side, Garrett Wilson on the other side. So he was running down the middle of the field wide open, because it was almost like an afterthought. And he had this prolific offense. He had, CJ Stroud and then last year when it was just him, right, without those other two receivers, he didn't do much and he didn't really play. And the fact that he was sitting out all those games with such a minor injury, again, this is not my words, but some people are saying that, he was just kind of slow playing it. He was waiting to, just the year to finish so he could just get into the league and, worried about his commitment, stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not saying I believe all that, but I'm just saying there's some people now who are worried that maybe he's not the real deal, what that 1 year stats looks like.
I remember people were saying that. I'm not comparing him to Jamar Chase, but I remember people were saying that about Jamar Chase, right? He had that huge year, then he didn't play during the COVID year, and then people were like, well, he just had that one huge year. We haven't seen him. We don't really know. I don't know. I think talent is talent. I think he's one of those guys, and there's a lot of wide receivers like this, like that don't put up incredible athletic testing, but know how to run routes and get open and are very successful at the NFL level. Because again, that's the most important thing. Like, how many John Rosses or whatever, these guys who run these blazing fast times but can't get open to save their lives, they do nothing. They do nothing at the NFL level because it's like, okay, you just run straight and fast. Big deal. Like, that's easy to stop at the NFL. So,
yeah. Give me the Amon-Ra St. Brown type of non-elite athlete who knows how to get open and catch the ball versus the John Ross type every day. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Keep waiting too long. Then it's you who keeps sniping me somehow like 6 spots away, because then I thought, okay, Gibbs will fall to me, but you're taking Gibbs when you don't need him.
I mean, I do need him. I need some running back depth. Like, we're talking about running backs. They're like the most unsure. Like, I might not have any running backs right now. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but you don't.
I got a running back who, tore his Achilles. I've got a running back who may not even be on the same team next year. He may get cut. And I got a running back who hasn't even been drafted. I may have no running backs right now.
Well, I'll take your non-running backs. All right. I went with Charbonnet. That's okay.
Yeah, I like him. All right, so
but honestly,
this
I could have taken him last round, but I actually forgot because the rookies, you just have to look for them. So I actually forgot Gibbs was there. So that's kind of my fault.
Well, I'll give you a little tip. You can just click right here, rookies only.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I forgot to do that.
Oh, okay. I always do that. When I get to the point where I'm like, there's nobody I really love here, I just go check to see if there's any rookies I like.
Yeah, that's a good.
So how do we feel here?
Who's doing this? You have to look for the rookies because they don't show up at the top yet.
Oh yeah, they're way down there. So Dallas is asking, and this is tough right now because we don't know landing spots or anything. But if you were in a Superflex draft right now, and you're at the number 4, are you taking Gibbs or JSN?
If we're in a dynasty or a redraft, we're talking redraft or dynasty?
I'm assuming dynasty. I'm assuming a dynasty rookie Superflex. That's what I mean. If I'm wrong, let me know, Dallas. But I'm assuming that.
I'm going with a wide receiver. And unless it was the running back was, Bijan.
Yeah.
I'm going with wide receiver.
I'm going JSN. You just can feel better about. He doesn't need the perfect landing spot again. He's a slot wide receiver most likely. So, how many teams have a true elite slot guy that if he gets drafted there, he's going to be behind him? You don't have to worry. It's not like a running back where, like, if Gibbs ends up going, let's say, to Seattle. I don't know why. I just picked Seattle because I just saw Kenneth Walker. Well, we know Kenneth Walker is going to get most of the touches there, and Gibbs is only going to be a complimentary back. It's just a fact. But even if, like, let's say JSN went to the Vikings, you go, oh, they already have Justin Jefferson. Yeah, but that's okay because he's going to play the slot. He'll still be on the field all the time. He'll still get targets. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. It's not like he's going to be on the sidelines watching Kenneth Walker the whole game.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He went to the Vikings. That would actually be a really good landing spot because they need another receiver, like the complimentary guy. Thielen might not be back. He would be open all day again because they're going to double, triple team Jefferson. So actually, I would love if he went to the Vikings.
Yeah. So, and plus we know why. Look at Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp. Who else? These guys that are in their Keenan Allen. Guys that are in their 30s or close to 30 that are still highly, highly productive. Name one running back in their 30s that is productive right now. One. There's none. There is none. There's zero. Maybe Derrick Henry will be one when he gets there. Maybe he'll still be productive. But there's not one running back productive in their 30s right now. So you can bet on at least know that the wide receiver also has a longer potential career if they end up panning out. So yeah, I'm almost always going to go wide receiver over running back.
Oh yeah, and it's funny. You say in their 30s. We don't even have to go that far these days. You can say 27 and up, right?
Yeah,
that's like the cutoff now. Zeke is 27, and everyone's like, he's totally dust. We were saying he was dust last year. I mean, now the Cowboys are like, I guess if you play for a minimum wage, we'll keep you, but
yeah,
that's it.
I mean, even guys like Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, 27, and even though they're still they're still playable, their value is so much lower than it was a couple of years ago. Like, just so much lower. Whereas guys like Adams, Diggs, Kupp, you're still gonna have to if you want to trade for those guys, whoever has them in Dynasty is still gonna want a good return for them, right? This doesn't happen with running backs.
All right, you are up, and I'm going to put on a very, very legit question from Brian. Address this issue. Are you worried about the Chase baby mama drama?
I don't even. What is that? I don't even know what's going on with that. What is that?
I don't know. I don't think I've heard of the drama. I tried not to get.
All I saw was some cryptic TikTok saying you have skeletons in your closet, I could ruin your career or something. To me, it's like if you knew something about me that was so bad, would you keep it to yourself? I'm not talking about I gotta be careful here. But if it was because if what she has on him is you've got 10 kids and you've cheated on me, that's not going to ruin his career. All right, that's not going to that won't ruin his career. It would have to be something really bad, like he murdered somebody or he's going to jail or he raped somebody, right? It has to be something really bad to ruin his career. So if you knew that about me, you knew, if I told you in confident, hey, 7 years ago I murdered this guy, would you just keep that to yourself?
Right. I mean, it's all right. I'm looking it up now. It says you have some skeletons in your closet. Multiple videos that will end your career in one post.
Yeah, which I don't multiple videos of what?
Something abusive, something.
So Code Blue is saying domestic violence, but would that even end his career? How many NFL players have had their career ended because of domestic violence? Ray Rice, and that's only because it was on video of him knocking his wife out. I don't even know if that would end his career. Honestly, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying I don't know if that would end his career.
Yeah, not whether it should or not, but whether it will.
Yeah, I don't even know if that would end his career. He might get suspended, depending on the video, of course. I mean, if the video is terrible, if the video is have you seen the Zach Stacy video? Have you seen that video?
That's an old one.
And he's only going to jail for 6 months. What? What?
Well, Good to know, Chris. Endgame community got your back.
And by the way, I've never murdered anybody, so in case this,
Not that we
it's
know
making the
of.
rounds.
Not that there's any video
YouTuber
evidence.
admits
No.
to murdering somebody. Like, no, I did not say that. Did not say that.
All right, back to football. All right, so you're taking Bateman and let's see. So many running backs already. You gotta pivot.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I do need another running back, but I don't know who I like here. Oh boy, here we go. Panic pick time. I guess here. I don't love it, but panic pick.
Kamara.
I'm not taking Kamara. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Here we go. Oh, it's gonna be 2 a.m. tonight. It's gonna be 2 a.m. tonight. Bang, 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 bang. Like, what the?
I'm glad this energy got directed your way, not this way.
Yeah, it's like, oh man. I will say I did not contemplate Kamara there at all. I'm just not drafting Kamara, but I did think about Ingram there. But I don't know. Maybe Ingram was a pick, but I do. There's other tight ends I like. I just felt like waiting, but maybe Ingram was a better pick.
Yeah, well, actually, I just realized I don't have a tight end, so.
Of course, now Bijan Mustard will take Ingram.
Wow. If someone doesn't, then now Stinger guaranteed will take him.
Yes. I'm surprised Fantasy Sleeper did not take him.
Oh, yes. Yeah, even the dogs. Look, it depends. What's her name? Casey Anthony. She got off on that stuff.
Yeah. I just don't know. Like, look, Jamar Chase, he's probably a bad person. He probably just is. I mean, I don't know him. Maybe he's a great person, but there's definitely a chance he's a bad person because he's an NFL athlete. I mean, yeah, like, it's not like he had to grow up, whatever, but I just feel like if she actually had those kind of videos, she would have posted the videos.
Well, yeah, here's what I say, like all these vague, like kind of thinly veiled threats. You do that. That's the kind of stuff you do when you're bluffing, right? That's like, yeah. I always say this, just in a general sense. Like there's talkers and there's doers. The people who talk the most, it's because they're not doing anything, right? They have to talk to cover up what they don't do. And people who do things, they don't talk about it. So she's doing all this talking. It's like she's probably not going to do anything about it. Because if she was, she would have just done it, right? If she wanted to like do something,
exactly,
just do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like if she had these videos, she would just post them.
All right, is this like where you were playing?
Like were you actually in the same room playing with Darius Geis, or it was like an online streaming thing and he just happened to be like in the game with you?
Now I gotta go inquiring or no. Were you at LSU or?
Yeah, were you guys at LSU or what? Like what's going on? But yeah, he's obviously a bad person.
Yeah, I think we can confirm that.
Oh, all right,
yeah. I'm clicking the same thing 3 times. What would you pick? Diop, Waddle, or Cook?
Is this? I think this might be in a 3-keeper league because he's saying in a 3-keeper league he's going to keep Jonathan Taylor, Tony Pollard, and then I guess we're picking one of these guys. Or do we pick 2 of these guys? Well, I'm going Waddle.
Definitely Waddle.
Yeah, definitely Waddle.
That's no doubt.
Yeah, going Waddle.
All right.
Yeah, because I mean, it's still a keeper league, and even if Waddle maybe has like a down year this year, he's still really young. You could keep him for many years. I don't know how your keepers work. Every league is different. Some leagues have like round where you drafted him, or he's got to be your first. Like every keeper leagues are so different. But assuming it's just keep 3, like every year you just keep 3 with no penalties or whatever. Waddle's a guy you could keep for the next 4 to 5 years potentially. So, whereas D-Hop might be better this year depending on where he lands. But are you going to want to keep D-Hop next year when he's 32 years old or whatever he's going to be, 33 years old?
I don't even think that. I'd take Waddle straight up over D-Hop because probably just be more productive. All right. So speaking of not so good dudes, I'm gonna shock you. Here's my real RB2. I've been waiting for this. I don't want to wait any longer. There you go.
Kareem Hunt. I haven't drafted him at all. I just don't know what to make of Kareem Hunt. He was so bad last year.
Well, here's the word. Got inside scoop. Actually, I think I read it on the Legit Football newsletter. Kareem Hunt could be an option for the Broncos. He will take over because Javonte, not going to be ready. If Kareem Hunt goes to Denver, remember what I've been talking about? Even talked about last night. I want the pass catching running back in Denver. He could be a 3 down back there because he's a good runner and receiver. So I might be interested. I'll definitely be interested in Kareem Hunt if he goes to Denver.
I will definitely be interested in him if he goes to Denver for sure. So we got an update here from Young Money. So Darius invited them to a PlayStation party and they played NBA 2K together a couple months ago. He's a big child. Well, did you tell him you were a Commander fan? Did you guys talk football at all? Or did you just make him get upset in NBA 2K? All right, I better go. I feel like Stinger gets Ingram in every draft. I get Njoku in every draft.
There you go. Called it. And I guarantee he would have done that whether I said it or not. He was waiting. He was waiting to pounce. Yeah, I thought about it. I let him fall to you. I was like, he was solid. Dalton Schultz with the Chargers. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that would be a good spot for him. That would definitely be a good spot for him. Osborne, a guy, I like that pick. I don't think we see Thielen back. No guarantee that they do anything at wide receiver as much as they might want to. Osborne actually looked decent down the stretch last year.
Yeah, I mean he's a guy who'll have his moments. He's never going to be a guy I think he gets a ton of targets, but he'll have his games. I feel like the Vikings keep trying, but they keep striking out. Like I don't know, they just got really lucky on Justin Jefferson because you can say they were smart, but every other receiver they've drafted has just been a flop.
Scream to you for missing open shots in a video game.
Yeah, that's when the party's over.
Like, were you guys playing for like huge money? Like, why was he so upset? This is hilarious. Actually, we need to have Young Money on a stream one time so we can tell Darius Geis stories.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Did you see this?
I did not. I did not hear about that.
He rescued this guy from a burning car on like the side of the road. Pretty impressive.
Wow. Oh, respect for that.
Yeah.
I like Osborne just because he went to the U, so I'm a fan for that.
I didn't even know they had like good character guys at the U. I was impressed. Thought the U was just all bad character guys.
No. Wait, who?
Osborne.
Nah, he's a good dude.
No, I know. I was impressed because I thought they only recruited bad character people.
Are you talking about Miami? Are you
Yes.
talking about the? Look,
Talk about Miami.
Don't even. Don't look. It's not the 80s anymore. Get out of the 80s.
See, that's where I grew up with, like, that Miami.
It's been a long time. I wish it was still that Miami. We actually used to win. All right, Texans fan Mark is announcing his arrival here.
Yeah, look at this. This is crazy. Playing for free against one of his friends. I hate when he beats me. I have to prove I'm a better point guard on a video game. I have to prove I'm a better point guard on a video. You're not a point guard. It's a video game, dude. This is hilarious.
It's kind of sad, actually.
Kind of is. You were an NFL running back, and now you're getting mad that you have to prove that you're a better video game point guard than somebody. Man.
Yeah, imagine what he'd like playing in Madden.
Yeah.
Yes, Stinger, you're correct. The Rock was a linebacker at the U. Oh, I forgot. It's my turn.
Oh, you're up.
Come on, dude.
Not what I wanted. Not what I wanted.
Ooh. The Darren Waller auto pick.
No, undo.
I mean, we don't undo for other people. It's only fair.
See, I was busy reading the chats and I didn't even realize it was my turn.
People honestly don't realize. I think people who have joined us like on the stream understand, but people who haven't joined us on the stream don't understand how hard it is to actually like talk about the draft, answer questions, and then also draft. Like when it's my turn, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pick this guy, and then he's not in the list, and I'm like, oh crap, he's already been picked, and then it's like you have 10 seconds left. It's actually very hard to do all this, by the way, and still draft. Anyways, speaking of answering questions, so another one. How early would you? I assume this is redraft. So how early would you draft? I mean, I'm not really going to draft any of the rookie QBs, probably.
In redraft, I don't think you can convince me there's a rookie QB I would take that I would start. And if I'm not starting him, I'm not drafting him, right? Because I don't need a second quarterback in most leagues if it's just standard. So no, I don't. I'm not like in love with Bryce Young. I like Stroud, but is he going to put up huge fancy numbers if he goes to like the Colts or the Panthers? You know what I mean? So probably in redraft, not taking rookie QB.
Yeah. Unless you just really wait on QB and draft one in the last couple of rounds. Austin has an important question.
Yeah, as soon as I have time to breathe. I barely have time to get on these mocks. Good news, though, Austin, I know you're worried. I did defeat Moog. I think I told you this a couple months ago. Of course, I'm referring to Moog, the Lord of Blood in Mogwin, which is the Underrealm near Kaled in Elden Ring. And
weren't you trying to beat him like last year?
It was a few months ago. No, I did it a few months ago, but okay. I'm still playing the game. I'm like 250 hours in, I think.
What?
I'm on New Game Plus, and I could finish it, but I have to beat Millennia, which is not easy.
What is this game? This is like 250 hours?
It's Elden Ring. It's Dark Souls, which is the best franchise ever for video games, and like Lord of the Rings put together. It's like bona fide like nerdgasm. It's totally yes. I draft fantasy football 3 times a week. I have no problem admitting my nerdness. So.
You're on the clock again, by the way.
Oh, see, I didn't even. It's going to give me a third tight end. Hold on.
I mean, Pierre's an old head too. He knows about it. I just don't play video games. I don't play video games anymore.
There we go.
John, nice. I mean, yeah, 250 hours. That's pretty time consuming.
But again, spread out over like the past year. So.
Okay, this I do know because they made the Final Fantasy games one of the greatest gaming franchises in history, Final Fantasy.
True. That was more a Fantasy Star fan at Sega, but anyways.
I mean, if you played Nintendo and you didn't play Final Fantasy, I don't even know. And then I think it was on PlayStation, Final Fantasy VII. That was way ahead of its time. That game.
Yeah. Final Fantasy, there's like 20 of them now or something?
Probably, I don't know.
Dragon Quest too. Dragon Quest was good.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully next time, keep trying. We're here 3 days a week, every single week. Plenty of drafting still to come. And as we get closer to the season, we might even start doing more. We might have to start doing more.
Someone just timed out.
Yeah, and then they got stuck with Boutte. I'm not on him, but I'll take a chance on this guy. Blizzard was a little... I actually had a friend that worked for Blizzard for a long time, but when Blizzard started making video games and getting popular, I was kind of like, had stopped playing by then. So,
I never did World of Warcraft. The MMO RPGs, yeah, that's too much. That's like a commitment. I don't mean a time commitment. It's like a life commitment. it's like another job. Diablo 4, didn't Diablo 4 just come out or is coming out? Yes. Oh, Destiny.
Wait, we have a Taysom Hill pick.
Somebody did take Taysom Hill. I noticed that. As a starting tight end, that would be Tanner. Tanner took Taysom Hill as a tight end.
I have heard from Nick Underhill, who's the Saints beat guy, who's usually pretty in tune with the team. He expects Taysom Hill to be much more involved this year, especially if Kamara is suspended. So, maybe.
They're going to have Taysom Hill out there, playing running back, tight end, wide receiver, blocking.
Might even have to play QB when they bench Derek Carr. All right, let's get to these ratings.
Oh, he's blaming me. He's saying because I sniped him on Darren Waller. So I'll trade you. I will straight up trade you Darren Waller for Taysom Hill.
I might rather have Taysom Hill, honestly. All right, let's look at these teams. What do we think here? So we got the 3 RB start from Fantasy Sleeper: Ridley, Kirk, Pitts, Jameson, Mitchell, Deshaun, Hyatt, Gainwell. Wow, a lot of young guys there. Palmer. How we like that 3 RB build?
I don't, and not just because it's 3 RB, but it's because Etienne, and I'm not crazy about Etienne, but yeah, it was just like a very unnecessary pick. If you'd taken Debo or like any receiver, I think I would like this team a lot more. Also kind of iffy. I mean, look, we've talked about Breece Hall. Are you sure you're getting last year's version of Breece Hall? Probably not. Are we sure you're getting 2 years ago version of Calvin Ridley? What version of Kyle Pitts are you getting? Jameson Williams? Just a lot of question marks. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
a lot of risk all on one roster.
Definitely is. All right, what about Keith? JJ, Metcalf, Chubb, Pittman, snipe me on Dobbins, Deontay, Rashad, Burks, Herbert, Osborne, Komet, Geno.
So this is this is PPR, right? Full PPR?
Full PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver.
This is interesting because 3 of his 4 running backs basically don't catch passes at all. And then you got Rashad White, that's his thing. So I think the fact that you got both Chubb and Dobbins, who could be both studs, of course. But yeah, backing up with Herbert, it's interesting. And Pittman, I think, is going to be solid. Deontay's solid, but more like floor guys. So I just don't know if this roster has the highest ceiling, but I like the makeup of the starting lineup. I think it's very solid. It's a very solid team. But again, it's like with Geno. Like, yeah, you wind up with Geno again and Komet at tight end. So it's like solid across the board. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's what I said. I said solid team. It doesn't jump out at me as like a monster team, but very solid. Very solid. All right, then obviously team 3 just destroyed the draft, so let's just keep going. I don't want to like make people feel bad.
Yeah, but as soon as Chase is out of the league, you're going to be hating this team. So.
Well, that's true. As soon as Chase's baby mama drops those videos, this team's going down the toilet. But until then, it's a great team. All right, MK, Joe Burrow, Cup, Walker, Andrews. That's earlier than we typically see Andrews. And then Cook, that's also earlier. Pierce, T-Law, Johnston, Tucker, Juju, Gabe. Wow. Douglas, we don't see him drafted often. And then Boutte. What do we think of this?
There's a recurring theme here. I think the first 2 picks were great. Like, this was the foundation of a great team. And then it was just like reach after reach after reach.
Yeah.
Very reachy. Mark Andrews, okay, maybe. Dalvin Cook, was okay. Pierce, I like in round 5. Lawrence is fine, but you didn't have to take him there. Johnson is fine, but you didn't have to take him there. Tucker, I wouldn't take. Juju, yeah. So it's just, it started out good, but it didn't end great.
Yeah, I agree. Not feeling that one too much there. Some definite reaches. All right, Hulk smash. Tyreek, Jacobs, Najee, Terry, Lamar, Pickens, Dotson. Got the Commanders stacked there with Terry and Dotson. Dylan, Mooney, Muth, nice. Evans and Moore to finish.
This is a very intriguing team, right? Very intriguing because the first 3 picks are kind of, solid. You take them basically where they should go, and you kind of know what you're getting. I like the Pickens, Dotson taking those shots at upside there in the middle of the draft. And Dylan, I think that's pretty smart. I like Muth where you got him. I like Evans. Moore's worth a last round pick. So I like the mix of ceiling and floor here. And look, you get Lamar Jackson going to Washington. You could have that connection with Terry.
Yeah. Lamar to Washington, right? That's what Young Money's saying.
Why not? I mean, do you really think that Sam Howell is going to be the starting quarterback in week 1?
No way. Ron Rivera is trying to win 7 to 10 games so he can keep his job every year. No way. All right, Bijan Mustard did well last night, I think. So let's see if we do well again. Eckler, Waddle, Keenan, D-Hop, Herbert, Evans, Pacheco, Zeke, Lenny. Got the Dust twins right there. Shane, Spears, and Taysom, of course, with that last pick.
I like the way he drafted. I mean, got anchor RB, and then that's what you do. Load it up at receiver, and then RB2, you say a mix and match. Maybe I'll roll Pacheco. It makes a little less sense since it's only a 2 receiver, right, in 1 flex league. But I think it's fine doing it the way you did it. Like, I would have preferred A.J. Dillon over Zeke. I would have preferred anybody over Fournette. But then you took some rookies. So I think overall, it's a solid, it's a good strategy.
Yeah, I think I would have liked it a lot. I mean, I know...
Maybe would you have liked a guy like since you already had Allen and Hopkins? Would you have preferred a guy like Pickens over Evans?
I would definitely prefer over Evans, but I probably would have even preferred like Joe Mixon or Gibbs or just a running back there because you could always come back later and get another wide receiver for some depth if you want. So just because of the format again, because we're in a
right.
Because now it's like Pacheco, maybe he still has a job next year, or maybe he still has a significant role. We don't know. Zeke, who knows? Lenny, who knows? Shane is like 120 pounds. He's only going to be playing special teams. I don't know why people like him so much. Spears, maybe. Okay, I do like Spears, maybe. But this is a lot of like real uncertainty at RB2 in a format where RB2 actually becomes somewhat important. So, but it's a good team. I mean, it's not like a terrible team. I still think it's a really good team. I think that's just probably the one nitpick I would have. All right, Valixen, JT, Higgins, Pollard, Burrow, Judy, Algier, Goddard, Sutton, Flowers, Myers, Foreman, and Odell. Our first, that's got to be our first Odell pick of the offseason. Got to be.
Probably. Well, good at running back. I mean, if you're taking Judy, do you need to take Sutton? I would have liked Burks or Bateman there better, but whatever. We'll just ignore that. You can go with Flowers or Myers. Again, this is pretty good across the board. I feel like, it's mostly a safe team. I don't see that guy who has this massive upside. Like, you could hope so. Well, maybe Jonathan Taylor will come back and be the RB1. That could happen. But just for at receiver, I think I would want a little more upside at receiver.
Yeah, me too. I think it's another solid team. It doesn't jump off the page to me like a wow team, but it's a solid team. Solid team. And then we got your team, which was really good until that pick 11. So let's just move past that.
And I will say, I waited too long at running back. I fully admit, instead of Hollywood, I should have taken Mixon or Algier or Gibbs. I should have just taken Gibbs.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. All right, Chemo. Henry in the first. We don't see that often. Amon-Ra, Stevenson, Cooper, Lockett, Kittle, Jamal, Tony, Kamara, Tua. Well, there's automatically gets a bump from you. Zay Jones and Boyd.
I mean, I don't see any flaws with this team.
Yeah.
Running back, 2 of the first 3 rounds is fine for this format. Maybe I could say there's not a guy who's like going to be a clear wide receiver 1. Like, I know Amon-Ra has been taken usually in the top 10 at wide receiver.
Here come the pitchforks. You're ready.
I mean, come on. Are we sure that St. Brown's going to be a top 10 fantasy receiver next year?
Oh man. Oh jeez. Here comes cancel culture for you. They're coming for you now.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
No, I get what you're saying though. Like, you don't have that like league week breaking, upside at receiver. Although Cooper could give it to you certain weeks, and so can Lockett. But I really like this team. I mean, Henry, Stevenson, solid. St. Brown, Cooper, Lockett, solid. There's plenty of weekly upside there. Kittle, solid. I think this is one of the better teams so far.
Yeah, no complaints.
All right, S-Dubs, Kelsey, Garrett Wilson, Mahomes, Swift, Ayuk, Jackson Smith, Sanders, Cook, Peoples-Jones, McKinnon, Gallup, and Chase Brown.
I mean, you got the Mahomes-Kelsey connection there. That's going to keep you competitive all year. I like the Garrett Wilson pick where you got him. DeAndre Swift and JSN, those picks are probably going to make or break you because you're starting both of them. And if you're not starting Swift, then you're in trouble because that means you're starting James Cook or Derek McKinnon. Yeah. So, you know what? This team kind of went for broke. I can't. It's like an incomplete grade. I can't say. It just could be a really good team, but it's going to be all or nothing, I think.
This team definitely has upside.
Right, and that's
a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk, but there's a ton of upside for this team. And like you said, I think even if Swift hits, this team would be a monster because, like you said, with that Kelsey Mahomes stack, I mean, that stack alone can carry you on some weeks by themselves. And then if Swift hits, this team could definitely be a monster. So definitely some risk, but I like the upside of that team. Mm-hmm. All right, Paper Zero, welcome. I think it's the first time we've seen you. Adams, Bijan, Hurts, Big Mike, Hawkinson, Godwin, Addison, Javonte, Singletary, Gibson, Thielen, and Madison.
And I actually was loving this roster up until the running backs there with Javonte.
Yeah, and that's not a bad spot. This team is stacked.
I mean, can you start Javonte as your RB2?
I think there's a better chance you start Singletary or Gibson or even Madison as your RB2, to be honest.
So I would have taken somebody other than Javonte. So even take a shot on a rookie maybe. But I love the way it started. Having Adams and Williams and Godwin as 3 receivers or 2 receivers in your flex, and having Bijan and Hurts, and then you got Hawk. Man, I love the starting. I'll say I love the starting lineup. I hate the bench.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I agree with you, but that starting lineup is so good it might not even matter, right? Because
maybe. Well, the problem is though your starting lineup does have to be either Javonte or Singletary or Gibson, unless you just get lucky and scoop up, somebody off waivers. But you don't want to rely on that.
But man, the rest of that team is so good. I gotta like it. What's up, Bear Camp Gavin Rentals? What's up?
Glad to have. This is good. This is like a red letter day. We're getting some of our regulars from during the season getting back into the mix.
People starting to get back into it. That's good. And then I know Steven's asked this a couple times. So is Rodgers worth drafting if he goes to the Jets as a QB1? And then we'll do Stinger real quick. And then I got to go because it is date night.
Nah, you can't be interested in Rodgers for fantasy. I know the idea of Garrett Wilson there. Elijah Moore is still good. Are they a team that's going to throw like high volume? No, they don't want to do that, and they don't need to do that because they have a really good defense and they'll have a good running game if Breece Hall is healthy. And Rodgers isn't that guy anymore. We saw it last year. So no, in fantasy, you can kind of ignore Rodgers unless it's a super flex league.
Yeah. I think he'll be similar to like last year. He'll have some games and he'll have a lot of just kind of meh games. All right, Stinger with the CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Christian Watson start. That is a lot of upside right there. Aaron Jones, DJ Moore, James Conner, Brian Robinson, Dak, Nico Ingram, of course, Josh Downs, and Tank Bigsby.
Really good. Well done.
Can I say, because I remember, so Stinger's one of the OGs from one of the endgame OGs from back in the day, and can I say his drafts were not good back in the day, not very good. But his draft, he's really impressed me this offseason with his drafting. He's hitting some home runs in these mock drafts. He's knocking it out of the park. Well done, Stinger.
I definitely agree. I think it was, and I used to be guilty of this back in the day. He was always, a my guys kind of drafter. It's like, I got to get Mooney every draft. I got to get, my Giants. I got to get this guy. And he's still taking Evan Ingram, and that's okay because you're getting him a good value. But he's playing the board smartly, making good picks. So, yeah, Stinger, I think one of the winners from tonight.
Definitely one of the winners. Good job, Stinger. That's a few drafts in a row where I really liked your team. So, all right, we got any last things here? Oh man, let's hope not. Okay, I will say this. Maybe it would be a good thing because remember, Allen Robinson was awesome as a rookie, if you remember, with the Jags, with Blake Bortles, and then year 2 he was not very good, and then he had a nice stretch of his career. So if that's how Elijah Moore is going to be, I'll be okay with that because that means he'll be great this year. So
I'm keeping faith in Elijah Moore for now. I mean, with a quarterback, and if he does have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, he's going to hold him accountable. Like either Elijah Moore is gonna kind of thrive, or they're going to boot his out in there because like he's not going to put up with that. Aaron Rodgers does not put up with that. So if they get Rodgers on board, Moore is going to have to sink or swim.
Yeah. Next draft will be Tuesday. We do every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So hopefully you can get in one of these here pretty soon. Any last words before we go, Pierre?
No, can't guarantee I'll make it next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm going to still be in Charlotte. Wednesday night, I'm going to be on a plane. So I know I won't make it on Wednesday. But if that's the case, just say good luck, everyone. Appreciate y'all joining us. Don't forget, hit subscribe, notifications. I know some of y'all did not get to jump in if you're still watching, or people who aren't watching live. I mean, we're lucky that we have the problem where the drafts fill up in 5 seconds. We appreciate all you guys, even especially the OGs, guys who were with us from the very beginning. Almost not even 2 years, but we're here because y'all. So appreciate you. always be ready. We're here every single day putting out content all year long.
All right.
Oh, and Steven's asking, how do you get in a draft? You haven't gotten a draft already? Subscribe. Of course, you're already subscribed. Hit notifications when we do go live. You'll see, hopefully you'll get that notification and then be on standby, because within the first 5 minutes, Chris will drop the link in the chat. You click on the link and get in. Stinger gave us the cheat code. He goes, have the Sleeper app open already before you click the link.
Yep.
All right. That's it, guys. Hopefully catch you next week. Thanks for watching.